All right, folks, we are wrapping up the final day of practice for stop number 6 of the FLW Tour on Lake Chickamauga. It's presented by Evinrude. Got Joseph Webster with me.
Well, you know, Jody, this tournament right here is going to mean a lot, and a lot of our, end of the year stuff and all that. And, it's fish are changing. Fish is not easy to catch.
Yeah. I want to first start on Watts Barr because we're here at Dayton, but you told Jeremy Lawyer that you were going to Watts Barr and you didn't go. So tell me what your thought process was, at least.
Well, I thought I had never been here or Watts Barr, and I kind of zoomed out on my unit yesterday evening, and I had fished at TBF National on Watts Barr in the 1st of May several years ago.
Okay.
And it was the same kind of stuff. Fish was shallow, hadn't spawned yet, and this morning plans was to go there, and then just went up here and got gas, made a U-turn, come right back here. So, I didn't want to put my season in jeopardy in a lock.
All right,
so,
that makes sense, because not only are you looking really good for the Cup, but you've got a legitimate shot at Angler of the Year. I mean, you're sitting 3rd, I think, in points right now, which is, that's right where you want to be.
Well, it is, and I don't know that I can beat either one of the two ahead of me, but I sure did.
Scott Murren's a pushover, and the other guy's a rookie. He hasn't barely had a good tournament all year.
Yeah, true. But I just didn't want TVA to ruin my season just because I couldn't get through a lock.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. How's Chickamauga setting up? As far as we've got fish shallow, I'm sure there's fish offshore. What's your vibe?
Well, I can't compete with them real shallow and on the bed and all that, but I put in a little time in Pickwick before this time of year, and it's just every day there's more fish coming. And the first day I done a lot of scanning, found one little spot offshore, and it had some like 12 or 13 inches on it, and I checked it yesterday. First fish I caught was like a 2.5 and had another bite, and found a couple more spots yesterday, but nothing big. But one spot yesterday had 4 or 5 on it, rolled back over today, and it's probably 10 or 12 on it. So, so every day they're coming, and I think there's some people gonna catch them off the bed, or I know they are, but I just don't think there's 4 days worth of good fish to be caught off the bed.
All right. What about, we talked about on the bed, but what about just on docks and just up shallow in general? Because David Dudley did really well here in June one time fishing shallow.
He'll do it again. I mean, there's a lot of fish that has spawned that's still hanging around, but in my case, if I do well, it's going to be off the bank. And there's some fish out there. I caught one good one today, probably a 7-pounder, and it's a good one. But and there was some more bites there with it. But I think some of them are small. I just hope that she'd laid out.
Indicator of what's to come.
I mean, maybe some decoys are there. Have something to sit down there with her.
All right.
So,
I guess, how do you think the offshore game is going to be as far as crowding? Because Chickamauga is not the biggest Tennessee River lake, and I know in June it can get pretty packed, but it's not June quite yet.
There's not enough out there for it to be crowded. I mean, there's so many fish still on the bank. They're probably going to be 75% of the field on the bank, and I mean, there's a lot of fish to be caught. I mean, somebody probably catch 40, 50 fish a day, and might not have but 10 pounds, but I think there's enough still left on the bank that's going to keep a lot of them occupied.
Okay, well, I think that's probably good from almost everyone's perspective. It gives people a chance to cut a check shallow. It gives some guys a chance to really do some special things out deep, and of course, there's obviously big ones shallow too. Yeah,
there's big ones both places. I just believe, if I was to be able to make a cut, my odds are better coming to me as leaving me.
Okay.
So that's the approach I'm gonna take, and if it works out, that's just the way it's gonna be.
Weight-wise, what do you think it takes to win this week?
78 pounds.
Okay, that's the lowest estimate yet, so thank you for bringing me down.
Yeah, I'm thinking 18 pounds a day. Somebody probably have 25 one day, and then I think it'll kind of go down a little bit, but 18 a day will be strong.
All righty, well, Joseph, we've had 3 hot days of practice. I say go get yourself something cold to drink, get some sleep, and we'll do this thing big on Thursday.
Good deal. See you. Thank you.
All right, folks, we are wrapping up practice here. Got Terry Bolton with me. Terry, last time we were here was in June. You made the top 10.
That's right.
You live on Kentucky Lake. You know the Tennessee River. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, that was June. This is, well, we're standing here the end of April. Tomorrow's the 1st of May, and there's a big difference in this period of time in June. You know, you still have lots of stuff going on. You've still got a lot of fish spawning. You've got fish that are done spawning, but they're still in that little transition and sickness phase. And so it's a strange time. Even, you know, it's a difficult time to catch a great big stringer of fish right now because
they're not all in any one place.
That's right. They're not in any one place, and some of the big ones that are shallow, they have other things on their mind, and there's just little windows. You can probably catch one of those at the right place, right time. The ones that are starting to get out deep, they feed for very narrow little windows right now, and they'll be that way for another 10 days or so before they really start to feed back up. So it's really kind of an odd time. You can get a lot of bites, but catching big ones sometimes can be a hard thing. Right now in this, we're kind of in between right now.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few guys, that you can go offshore or you can go on the bank, and those 2 and 3 pounders aren't necessarily impossible to come by.
Right.
It's the Chickamauga caliber fish that's a little bit trickier right
That's
now.
right. You know, and a lot of those bigger females, like I said, the ones that are already done spawning, you know, they are starting to make their way out. And I'm sure there's big ones that stay shallow, but they're still in that period where they don't really feel good yet enough to really chase a lot of things. The ones that are out deep, you know, I've seen a few on the depth finder. They're all way high off the bottom. They're really hard to catch. You can get 1 to bite, maybe 2. And if you're there in the right little window, you may catch 3 or 4, but it's really hard to catch them. And, you know, and of course, right now, the water's...
You're not just firing out a DT and catching them cast
No,
after cast.
no, not right now you won't. Now, maybe, like I said, we're about 10 days away from some really good ledge fishing here. Maybe 7 days, 10 days, something like that, I feel like. I mean, I may be wrong. But, you know, I think the real key to this tournament's going to be, and 2 things I'm really bad at are happening this week. One is when those fish first start to get out there, they're really hard to pinpoint. You might go catch them one day, next day you won't catch any of them. And a shad spawn. I'm not a very good shad spawn fisherman.
All right, I was going to ask about that.
I still say that's the key to this tournament, and I had a great plan for it this morning. I got around some shad spawning, and I caught like a couple 13-inch bass. So,
all right.
You know.
Well, maybe go around those again, or maybe don't, and find some different ones.
Well, you know, I think, and that's the thing, that you know, this is such a good lake that if you land in the right 50, 100 yards, you know, you can get real fast in the first 30 minutes. So, you know, it's kind of like throwing darts sometimes. You just kind of hope you connect.
Yeah. If this was on Kentucky Lake, I would ask you, and I would be 100% sure that whatever you are going to predict would be right.
Yeah.
I'm like 75% sure now, because you're Terry Bolton. But what do you think our top 10 breakdown looks like at the end of this tournament? Is it 10 guys who did a little bit of everything? Is it 5 guys who fish shallow the whole time and 5 guys who fish deep? I say deep, offshore. What do you think?
I'm going to say it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I think you'll see a few guys do well shallow. You'll see 1 or 2. You'll see a couple do well deep. That mid-range is really, that mid-depth range is where I think you'll see the better success. Somebody will...
Maybe not main channel, but let's say a point in 10 or 12 foot or something.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like somebody will find a place where there's a shad spawn going on something like that, and they'll catch them real fast and quick in the morning. I may be wrong. That's what my gut feeling tells me.
I remember a few years ago on Kentucky, I think it was, Mark Rose caught them, and there was a shad spawn out on the ledges.
That's right.
That's right. The kind of thing that you really could see happen.
I think will win the tournament. I think somebody will find a shallow bar or a shallow ledge with a shad spawn and win the tournament.
Is that the kind of thing that how do you find that? Do you have to run down the lake and look for it? Do you have to land on it?
I'm not a very good shad spawn fisherman. Usually you just have to land on it. You have to be right place, right time.
And see it happen.
I've seen it, you know, at Kentucky Lake. Guys will be catching them and they'll think, man, they're getting out on the ledges. Well, a lot of times they're just up there because of those shad. And it happens at Kentucky Lake. I know it's happening here. I haven't been able to find it yet, but I know it's happening. It's out there. It's out there. So that's my thinking. I mean, you know, like I said, there's so many things going on right now, and it's just a tough time. And, you know, I've dealt with this at home this time of year. you know, it's just a hard time to really pinpoint one thing to do.
Are you gonna do, like, I'm assuming you're gonna try and incorporate a shad spawn early. After that, are you gonna do one thing, or are you gonna mix it up as the sort of day and weather demands?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm probably going to do one thing, and if it's not, well, I mean, obviously.
You're going to try and do one thing.
I'm going to try and do one thing, and then if it's not working, then I may have to punt. But you know, that's what I'm feeling. I feel like, you know, it's whatever you do. Here's the thing. I think whatever you do, you got to do it all day long to have a shot at any big ones.
Okay. And then my last question, I asked Joseph Webster this. I've asked a lot of guys this. What's it take to win this week?
You know, that's really hard to say, you know, because I know the history here. You know, the water's rising. We don't have a whole lot of current right now. We got fish spawning. Some are, you know, some are spawning. Some are done spawning. You know, I'm gonna say, you know, man, I'm going to say 17 to 18 and a half a day.
Okay, well, I can't do that math right off the top of my head, but either way, Terry, thanks for stopping by, and good luck out there.
Thank you very much.